Excellent. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Zoom call by Wealth Warriors. My name's Andy Galloway. It's 10 o'clock UK time. I'm in the UK, and people on the call here from various parts of the world. So welcome to all of you, and welcome to all of you that might be watching this by video. What we're going to do this evening is a look at Wealth Warriors, who we are, what we do, why we do it, our methodology, our philosophy, our reasons for doing things, our criteria for adopting platforms, and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen over to a presentation, and we'll get the show on the road. The reason I use a PowerPoint presentation, I do have people laugh at me because they think it's kind of old-fashioned. I've used about 30 different types of presentation software over the years. Some you won't even know the name of. But I find that PowerPoint is just kind of functional, but the main thing it does is it keeps me on track, doesn't let me wander off into the weeds talking about things that aren't relevant. I still do a bit of that, but the presentation helps keep me on track. So this is us. We are Wealth Warriors, and we're financial freedom fighters in our own lives. People often say, well, isn't that kind of grandiose? Financial freedom fighters, you know, who are you trying to liberate? And I'm saying, well, the only person I'm trying to liberate is me. And I'm working with a bunch of other people who are trying to liberate themselves. So we are financial freedom fighters in our own lives. And the reason is because if we don't do it, nobody else is going to. If we don't realize the freedom that we could possibly have for ourselves and in our own lifetime, it's not going to happen. And so that's kind of where I am. And as you can see there, the battle is between the Bitcoin brigade and the dollar servants. And we're winning, so that's good news. We're cheating as well because we've got better weapons than them, but that's fine as well, and we're smarter, so that's fine. That's what we do. You know, you might be mistaken for thinking we're fighting for our survival, and it depends how much you believe about Agenda 2030. That may be true. It may be true. It may not be. Who knows? Time will tell. So I have a disclaimer, and the disclaimer starts with nothing in this presentation is given as financial or investment advice. If you think I've given you advice, then you've misheard me, and I apologize. I wasn't meant to give you advice. If I do specifically state some advice, I will tell you this is my advice, and there'll be a reason why I give you that. But as a general rule, nothing here is financial or investment advice. Okay. And we're not an investment platform. Again, I get people message me and say, can I see the compensation plan for Wealth Warriors? We're not an investment platform. We're a community. Now, it's a very loose community. You can belong just by saying, I belong. We don't have a registration system or anything like that. We're working on it. We will have that one day. But right now, it's good enough just to say, that's it. I belong to this team. And so therefore, I'm a Wealth Warrior. The real test isn't just saying whether you do that. The real test is what do you do with the information that you receive on this Zoom call right now, on this video right now. If you do what we're proposing, then you become a Wealth Warrior. It's as simple as that. So if you do decide to invest in any of the platforms that we discuss, only use money you can comfortably afford to lose. I love it that we promote that. We're kind of very we're sticklers for that. Our strategies are based on that, rather than getting people all excited and they have to put in as much money as they can. Sell their second car, sell their wife, sell their kids, sell their house, whatever, for the promise of making a huge amount of money. This is not a safe environment. The world of online businesses is not a safe environment for that type of investment. And I am a member of the management team for Veralio. If you don't know who Veralio are, you will do by the end of this presentation. But I'm not an employee, and I'm not an agent of any of the other platforms. I'm just like you. I'm a member. I'm an advocate. I'm an affiliate. Whatever it is you become, that's what I am in those same platforms. So what's the problem with online businesses? Why do we have to worry about Wealth Warriors? Why do we have to worry about having a system? Because having a system implies there's rules, which there are. It implies you do other things besides just what you want to do, which you do. So why? What's the problem? Why all the hassle? I'd rather just have a nice, easy life with it. And to be honest, I really would. But the problem we have is there are too many scams out there. And if you've been around in this industry for very long, you know that there are scams of all different sizes and shapes. And the one thing they have in common is they convince us to part with our money, and then at some point in the future, they run off with our money. Okay, and it turns out everything they told us up until that point was a lie. And there's just too many of them. I do a great job, I think, of filtering out scams. There are thousands of them. Well, no, that's an exaggeration. Um, I've looked at almost 400 different businesses over the last 2.5 years, and almost all of them, or but maybe about 10 or 15, were all scams. And of those 10 or 15, a few of those turned out to be scams a bit later anyway. So, it's a very, very small percentage that are not scam businesses. Some businesses perfectly legitimate, work perfectly well, except the person running the show doesn't know what he's doing. They're not a business person. They're a coder maybe who's got a good idea about how to do things, how to make some money, and $20 million on a Trezor device sat in their back pocket. Okay, so they haven't got a clue about business. These people wouldn't open a shop on the high street with the knowledge they've got of business, yet they think they can open an online business and it will just run smoothly. As you know, businesses just run smoothly without anybody at the helm, nobody really directing things or understanding what's going on. No, that's not the case. If you have a business like that, you don't have to worry about making money in it. It will not be around for very long. And that's true of online businesses and offline businesses. And then there are a few businesses that go bust. I was on a training session with a friend of mine the other day, and he said, he said, we've got to be careful because we've got to guide people and help people on board in this particular platform, because if we don't, we'll get a number of people complain to the government, to the SEC, to the FCA, to the ASIC, or whatever, wherever they are in the world. They'll complain to the regulators, and the regulators will just carte blanche. They'll say too many complaints, cease and desist. And it's a perfectly good business, but they've had too many complaints, and so now we can't trade in that jurisdiction, in that country, whatever it is. They seize our assets if that's where our assets are, and so they're not scams. They're not. There's nothing necessarily wrong with them, but regulators love to shut these types of businesses down. There's reasons why. I'm not going to go into it, but basically they don't like us doing what we're doing. Governments like to control things, particularly left-wing governments. They love to control things. And one of the things they want to control is you and your money and how you can make it and where you can spend it. And it doesn't matter how much money you make in online businesses, you cannot become truly free. I've just kind of covered some of that. You just can't. It doesn't matter how much money you make, you have to do other things besides just make money. And we're going to cover a little bit of that tonight. I'll point you in the right direction. I introduced somebody to that particular platform last week, and I gave them the website, and I said, go and watch some videos. They're nuts about the platform now. They want to watch a load of videos, and they just keep watching the videos. They're saying this is fantastic. Okay, so it kind of works, and it's all good information. So what can we do about all these scam businesses? Well, we can try to avoid the mistakes of the past by getting together with some other people, make ourselves accountable to other people, and say, I'm thinking of doing this. What do you think? Can you see anything wrong with it? And so collectively we can help most of us avoid the pitfalls of the industry. When we do fall into a pitfall, it's to the tune of a couple of $100. It's not, we haven't sold the farm to get into that platform. We've lost a couple of $100, and typically it's a few well-seasoned wealth warriors. We test the water first, and then when we're comfortable, when we understand what's going on, and we gain confidence, then we get the word out to everybody else. So not everybody can avoid the pitfalls, and there's no guarantee, of course, that you will avoid the pitfalls going forward, but we try our best. Where we can't avoid the pitfalls, of course, we can strategize using the weaknesses of the system, knowing where they are and how to work our way around them. We can strategize so that we actually do make money in a platform, even if it's not the best platform we've ever seen. So that's the strength of working together. We're safer together. we have time. We're looking for businesses where we can start small and build big over a period of time. And we have a number of those platforms. Not all platforms fit that bill. Some of them you have to get in, get your money out, make some profit, and get out, as quickly as you can. But typically, we're looking for businesses where you can get in, start small, and build big over time. So, what are the benefits of being in Wealth Warriors, of following the rules of Wealth Warriors? Benefit one: you will never lose all of your money to a scammer again. Now, I'm not responsible if you go off and do something stupid, but get seduced by somebody else telling you you can make 5% a day for for a month and make this much money. Great, you're going to lose your money. There isn't a platform in the world. There's not a business in the world outside of banks. Banks will quite happily make 5% a day, but they use your money to do it, not their own. So yeah, if you fall into that, then I'm not going to be held responsible for that. But if you do what we're suggesting, you will never lose all of your money to a scammer again. Second benefit, you will protect your permanent network of contacts. Now, we all have a number of contacts, friends, neighbors, relatives, work colleagues, and so on. When we see something good, we start telling these people, this is brilliant. Now we go to a restaurant, brand new restaurant opens up, we go there, we have a great time, and all of a sudden we're telling all of our friends. We're chatting to them about something else. We go, oh, by the way, I went to this restaurant the other day. It's a great restaurant. They did this, I had that. It was cheap, it was expensive, but it was great food, whatever. Okay. And so you're recommending things to people you know and like. However, if we've been in one or two of these platforms that have failed and our friends have lost money, okay, then we feel that very, very heavily. We feel it more heavily than if we lose money. And so we don't want to do that. Once we've been in that position a couple of times, we don't want to introduce any of our friends to any more platforms. However, with Wealth Warriors, you can, and you'll understand how in a minute. How would you like to be able to get involved in a platform and build it twice as fast as everyone else, 10 times as fast as everyone else, with very, very little effort? Make a lot more money, a lot faster, with very little effort. How would you like that? That would be great, wouldn't it? I'll show you how we're going to do that. How would you like to just build one business, the one business that we have that you're excited about, but we've got 4 other platforms, and all of a sudden those platforms are growing as well. You haven't spent any time on them. You might not even like them, but all of a sudden they're growing as well. Okay, I'm going to show you how we do that. You can start small and build big over a period of time, only because that's the type of business we are looking for. Okay, so that's kind of it. We're looking for that and we find that, and then that's what you get. Sounds very simplistic, and I suppose it is. Benefit 6, you can recoup loans, mortgages, and recent expenditure. Money that's left your bank account in the last 3 years, you can recoup that. It doesn't matter why it left your bank account. Mortgages, any mortgages you've had in the past, any mortgage you have currently, you can recoup that. Okay, going back for the last 25 years. You can recoup loans all the way back to the age of 18, or in some countries 21, the age of majority it's called. So whenever you become an adult legally, then you can recoup all of this, loans and certain expenditure all the way back to them. Benefit 7, you can become free, wealthy, and live an abundant life. There's not a single platform on the planet that will allow you to do that. I've looked for them. They're not there. They all purport to be. If you listen to the business gurus, they will tell you, do this with me, give me all your money, and you can be wealthy. No, you can't. You can't. You can make some money. You can't be wealthy doing that. You can't become free by doing that, because you're dependent just on that one company or that one business guru that you're listening to. You certainly won't live an abundant life. Okay, you have to strategize for that. And these platforms don't allow you to strategize. There's a particular series of things you need to do, a process you need to go through to become free, wealthy, and live an abundant life. And we will show you that. Not this evening, but over time, we'll show you how that happens. So I'm going to give you an illustration of how Wealth Warriors works. Okay, so let's make some assumptions. The first assumption is you have 10 people in your team. I prefer instead of the word team, I prefer community. You have 10 people in your online business community, and you're making $1,000 a month because you're in a particular platform. So let's have a look at platform one. This is you. You've introduced 3 of your friends, maybe Alan's your brother, Belle is your girlfriend, and Chris might be somebody you work with, okay? And you've talked to these people over a period of time, and they say, that sounds good. Whatever platform one is, that sounds good. I'll have a look at it. They like it, get involved, and they introduce a few of their friends. So we're not talking about a huge organization, a huge community here. We're just saying you've got 10 people in on your team, 10 people in your community. So now your income goes up to, so your income is $1,000 per month because of the workings of this particular platform, compensation plan, whatever. Your that type of activity earns you $1,000 per month. There's no guarantees. You know, I'm not saying all the platform, every platform's doing that. I'm just saying this is an illustration. So let's move that out of the way, because the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to find platform 2, and I'm going to run it by some of our leaders, some of our key players, and then we release it. And then you get your hands on it and you introduce Alan and Belle and Chris in exactly the same positions as you invited them on platform 1. And they introduce their friends as well in exactly the same positions. Your income goes up to $2,000 per month. So let's move that out of the way and make room for platform 3. I'm sure you're beginning to get the hang of this now. We bring in platform 3 and you introduce Alan and Belle and Chris to exactly the same positions in exactly the same, sorry, in platform 3, they introduce exactly the same people. And so your income now goes up to $3,000 per month. So move that out of the way to make way for platform 4. I'm not going to go through the same spiel, but you can see it's exactly the same as the other 3 platforms. And because of that, your income has dropped, has risen to $4,000 per month. So let's suppose that's as far as we get. It never gets any further than that. You're working with 3 people that you know, like, trust, who love you because you're helping them make money. They're working with their people who love them because they're helping them make money. You're making $4,000 per month, and everybody in the team is making however much they're making. It's up to them. If they put more effort in, they would make more money. And it goes on like that for a little while. And one day something happens to platform 4. Let's suppose the regulators, you know, so many people around the world complain about platform 4, and the regulators say, we don't really understand platform 4, but we don't like all these complaints. It must be something dodgy, or people wouldn't be complaining. So you and I know that people complain for no particular reason anyway. So they issue a cease and desist order, and platform 4 has gone. Anything could have happened to platform 4. It could be the guy who's running it got sick. Anything could have happened. Platform 4 goes. So your income now, instead of $4,000 per month, it's dropped to $3,000 per month. Oh no, complete disaster. No, it's a bit of an upset, but it's not a complete disaster, because there's a couple of things happened here. One is you haven't lost all of your income. Nobody in that picture has lost all of their income. Okay, but most importantly, you haven't lost all of your friends. You are still friends with Alan and Belle and Chris because they're in 3 other platforms with you. So, you know, we've had this discussion with them about what happened to platform 4. They understand it's nobody's fault. They're quite happy, a little disappointed, of course, but they're quite happy. They're still making an income, and they still have their friends who love them and want to help them make more money. So my job then is to go and find platform 5. So we get platform 5 come in, and guess what happens? In exactly the same way, you introduce Alan and Belle and Chris in exactly the same positions. They do the same with all of their friends. Your income goes back up now to $4,000 per month. Okay, so there's platform 5. So that's kind of what we're aiming for, and to a large extent, we're there. We have 5 platforms. Some of them are better than others. Some of them are more reliable than others. Some of them we still got a few little, we're still a little bit unsure, but that's kind of where we are. As this thing matures over the next few years, we'll have 10, 12, 15, 20, 25 platforms. And every time we introduce a new platform, you introduce your friends, you do your bit, they do their bit, and your income goes up. Imagine having 1,000 people in your team when we introduce a brand new platform where 1,000 people get you halfway up the bonus chart where you're making $20,000 a day. There are platforms like that around. Okay, so and not only that, that's kind of what you're promising Alan and Bell and Chris when they get involved with you in Wealth Warriors. That, you know, they would have this security of income, they'd have this security of their permanent network. So you can't have the benefits without following the rules. You can't have the heat from the fire without putting the logs in first. You need to do the work first. You need to follow the rules to do the work, then you get the benefits. A lot of people forget that. The only time you get paid out, or you get payment before work, is in the dictionary. So the rules are: one, don't sign up on any other platform that comes along. If it's a good platform, we will get to it at some point. And along those lines, I'd rather we were out of a platform wishing we were in than in a platform wishing we were out. When you're in a platform, you can see it crumbling around you. You think, this is horrible, this is awful, the time and effort I've put in. I've now got to explain to my friends why that platform is failing. Okay, we don't want to do that if we can avoid it. However, if you go off and do your own thing, there's a high probability, unless you're really, really good at spotting scams and being able to identify good companies from bad companies, companies that operate in every area of the world and so on, all the things that we do, then you're going to be destroying your community, and your community won't distinguish between Wealth Warriors and any other thing you're doing. They will just leave you. Okay, so unless you have a system that has a concerted effort in nurturing and looking after your friends, neighbors, relatives, your permanent network, then you're just throwing them to the wolves. It's just like you didn't ever pay any attention when I was talking about Wealth Warriors. You've just gone and done your own thing. Now, the worst thing about going off and doing your own thing is that's what you're teaching all of your people to do. And pretty soon they're going to be into all sorts of things that are nothing to do with you. You don't even know anything about them. They're introducing their friends. Their friends are all losing money. Their community's falling apart, which is part of your community that's falling apart. And it all started with you just doing what on earth you like. Don't do that. Don't do that. It will not work. I've seen it too many. I've been building this type of business since 1988. I know how duplication works, and I know how people doing their own thing can destroy duplication, can destroy teams, can destroy credibility, can destroy everything you're trying to build. If you want to build it properly. If you don't want to build it properly, if you want to go and do your own thing, go do your own thing. I don't care about that. What I care is if you're going to do this and say you're part of Wealth Warriors, be part of Wealth Warriors. Do follow the rules. So that's the first thing. Don't sign up on other platforms. The second thing is do sign up in all the platforms we adopt. You might say, well, I don't like that. Now, I go to great lengths to avoid platforms that people won't be able to get involved with. If it's gambling or money lending or gaming or anything like that, okay, or money games, we avoid those because I know there are a lot of people now, and there will be a lot of more people in the future in our community that don't like those types of things, can't get involved for moral, legal, ethical reasons, religious reasons even. Okay, so I don't even get involved. I don't even look at them. We walk away from them. They might be the best platform in the whole world, but if they are not something we can all get involved in, I walk away. So you haven't got to worry about that. But you might say, well, I like this platform, but I don't like these other four. But the person you introduce next into the platform you like might not really like that platform. When we show them the other platforms, they say, I want to get into these. So what do we do now? Do we bypass you? Do we start to destroy your community because you didn't have the foresight to get into all 5 platforms? Okay, it's your decision, but I strongly advise against that. Take all the benefits that you can get from Wealth Warriors, sign up in all the platforms, and when other people get involved, I told you the other day, I told you that I've just shown one of these platforms to somebody. They've gone and looked at all the videos. They love it. They weren't, they didn't have to say, so are you going to sign up in this? No, they just asked me for my link. I gave them my link. They went and used it. I do that with all of the platforms we've got. I have a link. I just give it out to people. Okay, so be like that. Do sign up in all the platforms we adopt. Do maintain lines of sponsorship across all platforms. So if you put somebody in platform A, put them in platform B, C, D, and E. And there are ways of doing that. One of the best ways is bring them along here, and I'll explain this to them, and they'll go, "Oh, yeah, I understand. I'm in platform A with that person, so let me get their other links." And then they'll go and join up. Even if they don't fund them, they'll go and join up in those other links because they understand it. Okay, so do maintain lines of sponsorship across all platforms. It's to protect your permanent network. And if you don't do that, then again, you're eroding your ability to build a good, strong, fast-growing, loyal community. Do get your personally introduced people to do the same, because now we don't want to be policing things, but you know, if you know that somebody you've introduced has got 4 people in platform 1, platform A, can't remember what I was saying just now. So they've got 4 people in platform A. Just have a word with them about how they're going to introduce them to other platforms. Make sure they bring them along to the Zoom calls or watch this video. Okay, just make sure there is a pressure on them to introduce those people to all 5 platforms and explain why they need to get involved in all 5 of them. They haven't got to do anything immediately, but pretty soon after joining us, and then in their own time they can start funding those platforms. And we have a kind of a rule of thumb, if you like, that if you have $1,000 in platform A, aim to have $1,000 in platform B, C, D, and E. Now, if you can't do that immediately, don't worry about it, but start with $100 and then don't go along and put $200 in platform A and nothing in the others. Your next $100 should go to platform 2, then platform 3, and so on. And then when you make some money from the platforms, you say, well, I'm a bit out of balance. 4 of my platforms are the same, but I've got a bit of a shortage in platform 5, so I'm going to take some of my profits and put it into platform 5. Just keep it a little bit balanced. You'll be glad you did. You'll be glad you did. Do support your own people by learning about all of the platforms we adopt. You don't have to be an expert. And in fact, one of the things I do say, and I tell all the leaders that, because in some of these platforms, I have a sort of a big business leader type guy as my upline in some of these. And I say, look, we're not interested in all this other stuff you're doing, all these seminars flying off around the world, the Visa card, the buying these coins, shuffling money over here to do something else. Now, all we want to do is the passive activity of that platform and build a team. That's it. Everything else is gravy. Now, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying just be careful of how much time and money and effort you put into some of these platforms, because they will suck you in. And if you're doing every platform to the nth degree, you won't be able to build 25 different platforms. You'll be stuck at about 6, and then you'll run out of time. You'll realize you've actually got yourself another job. Okay, we don't want that. We want to use the platform for what we want to use the platforms for, not what they want us to use the platforms for. They come up with all these great ideas and other ways of getting the money off you. Don't do it. You want the passive income, you want the team building income, and that's it. If we can do that, we can run 25 platforms. If we do more than that, if we start getting involved in all sorts of other areas, we can't. So why worry about the rules? I mean, I hate rules probably more than all of you. Everybody who's ever watched any of my videos, all of you put together, okay, I hate rules more than you. And if you could see my write-up from my naval career, you'd realize I hate rules a lot. Okay. So why are we worried about following the rules in Wealth Warriors? Much as I hate the rules, I hate being broke more. I hate letting my friends down more. I hate getting involved in things that fail and I lose everything. I hate that more. If I've just got to follow a few rules to have the benefits, I hate not living, excuse me, not being wealthy and living an abundant life. I hate that more than I hate following the rules. So I'm happy to follow a few rules in order to get what I want. And of necessity, help a few other people get what they want. Okay. In the same way, a travel plan includes a series of steps, and each step, if you like, has got its own mini goal. It's got its own mini plan for how to achieve that goal. So, you know, from your house to the train station, from the train station to the airport, from the airport to the other airport, the airport then to your hotel. Okay, they've all got different goals, different starting points, different financial arrangements, and so on. Okay, but you need a strategy to pull all that together, all of those different steps into a single strategy. And in the same way, if you want to be financially free, you want to have personal freedom, you want to live an abundant life, you want to be wealthy, then you need a strategy. It is not going to come and wake you up in the middle of the night and say, guess what? You're now going to be wealthy and live an abundant life. No, you have to hunt it down. You have to chase it down. You have to be dogged about this. And I'm not talking about any of the platforms. I'm saying the strategy you're following within Wealth Warriors, you need to be dogged in following the rules, because that's the only way you can achieve the destination you want. It won't sneak up and slap you in the face and say, here I am. You've got to go get it. It's not difficult. It's not going to break your back. You're not going to get calluses on your hands, okay? But you do need to do it. And the work in building Wealth Warriors is in your head. Because we all have these tendencies to take shortcuts. We'll go and have a look at this platform, and if it's good, we'll make a load of money. Oh, great, okay. I know I'm meant to be helping these people, but you know, it's they're awkward. I just wish they'd never got in my business. Well, tough. Suck it up. Okay. We've all got to do things we don't want to do. You haven't got to want to do things. I learned this many years ago. As I said to somebody, they said, you need to do this. I said, well, I don't want to. They said, no, that doesn't matter. You don't have to want to do it. You just have to do it. I thought, that sounds stupid, but it's really just on the money. You haven't got to want to do it. Just do it. Okay, so look after your community first, and then your community will look after you forever. If you don't look after your community first, you haven't got to worry about it, because you won't have much of a community. There's a lot of talk in all these chat rooms about how good the leaders are, and everybody thinks they're the most wonderful things since sliced bread, I guess. And then when things go wrong, and that leader's, you know, on the way out the door, and they're not communicating with the troops, everybody realizes they're not really a leader after all. Okay, you need to be that leader that's there through thick and thin. Don't lie to people. Always have time for people. If you haven't got time for people, tell them that I can't get with you tomorrow, but I can do it on Wednesday. I've got an hour slot on Wednesday. Is that any good for you? Okay, so look after your community first, and you will have the rewards. Remember, the work required to build a single platform can be wasted over and over again. If that's all you're doing is building one platform, you can build it big, build it fast, making a lot of money. You've got 1,000 people in it. Okay, and when that platform goes bust, all of that time, money, and effort, all of that investment in those relationships is gone, and you have to start again. You know, you just have to start again. But the work required to build your community has a permanent benefit, and that pays over and over again. So a single platform wastes your time, money, and effort over and over. Building your community, regardless of the platforms, nobody cares about the platforms. Okay, but the work required to build your community pays over and over and over again, and that's what you need. So we have some criteria for adopting a platform. I mentioned it earlier. One is it must be available everywhere. 2, it must have a unilevel compensation plan. 3, people must be able to join for free or get involved in a passive income program for a very low entry cost, i.e. $100. The reason we're focused on those 3 things is because we want to maintain lines of sponsorship. In fact, this is not a criteria, it's a basic requirement. To build Wealth Warriors, you must maintain lines of sponsorship across all platforms. So if somebody joins you in platform A, then you spend a bit of time to make sure they get into platforms B, C, D, and E. Same with their people, and their people, and their people. Okay, so that's why we have a strategy to help people do that. That's the most important thing, and therefore we must have those 3 criteria. We can't do it without those. Now, some nice to have things, it must be based on a real world application, not just a money game or a shell game. And the reason we want that, it's not a showstopper. Sometimes we can get involved in a platform and strategize to make sure that we make some money before it all goes horribly wrong. But it's kind of a waste of time and effort. So when we can identify that right at the beginning, that's what we do. Sometimes we're in a platform before we realize that's what it is. We don't get into them on purpose. Number 5, we must be able to verify the company's legal status and its involvement in real world activities. So if they're trading, we need to see the trading results. We need to see the experience of the traders, the licensing, the insurances. If it's a company, we need their registration documents, their financial filing, the repute of management, the premises. And, it's just crazy how many people set up businesses and they're running it from their mum's basement. And I say that kind of jokingly. I've seen people that claim they're running a multi-million pound, almost $500 million management assets under management, and it's being run from a two-bedroom flat above a chip shop in Croydon. Okay, and so I wish that guy all the luck in the world, but he's not running a multi-million dollar trading business. He's running a bit of software that eventually is going to fail him and people are going to lose money. He's doing it with the best intentions in the world, but he doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, so we avoid those. We check companies to the nth degree. We make sure the company, and I'll give you an example of one that we did recently. It was one of our platforms. It's eEstate, and one of the partner companies has been in the real estate industry for 50 years. I checked them out for 50 years. I looked through 50 years worth of financial reports. I checked their first websites. There's some software you can use to check previous versions of websites. And I looked at the first website they published in 1997. It was a bit rough and ready, but not bad, actually, not bad. And I was able to check the repute of management. I was able to see who the directors are, who the shareholders are, all the different projects they've been involved with in real estate over the last 50 years. I didn't look all of them, but I did check a few. And so you can see they're a great company. Now, that's no guarantee of success, but it's better than not knowing who you're dealing with. Okay, so we want to know the companies who we're dealing with. Sometimes we're not dealing with a company, excuse me. Sometimes we're dealing with smart contracts. One of our platforms, we are dealing with smart contracts. So the only verification you can really have of a smart contract, well, one, you could take it apart and make sure that it's immutable, it's been disavowed, that it's robust, nobody's got access to change it, and so on, that it's been running for a period of time. We could do that, but nobody's going to give us the keys to their smart contracts, particularly if they've disavowed it, because then nobody can change that smart contract. So the only thing we can really do is say, well, this smart contract's been running for this period of time. Has it been working for other people? If it's been working for other people and it's immutable, there's a really, really high probability, and still no guarantees, of course, but there's a really high probability it's going to work for us. So it depends what the smart contract's doing, of course, because sometimes we can say, well, actually, that thing it's doing has changed over the last 5 years since the software was written, or it's changing now. So we can be aware of that. But generally, a smart contract, if it's been working, is going to continue to work. The compensation plan must be viable and sustainable, and the membership of Wealth Warriors must all be able to get behind the project. So we don't want people being say, well, I can't do that for religious reasons or ethical reasons, or I can't get involved in gambling because I do have a gambling problem myself, so I'd rather stay away from gambling. So those sorts of things, we need to just steer clear of it. There's plenty of good platforms out there. Well, I say that, but there are some good platforms out there. We don't have to get involved in everything just because it's a good platform. We needed to meet all of our criteria. So we have 5 platforms. The Republic of Old Souls, you can join for free. Talk to the person who's introduced you to this meeting, or the person who's sent you this video. They will have a link for the Republic of Old Souls, and you can go there and you can become a member for free, and then you can start looking through what they do, all the different protocols they have, the different ways they can help you recoup money, and become secure, live an abundant life, become wealthy. They have all the answers on that website. Go and watch the videos, talk to some people, go on the webinars on they're advertised. They do webinars lots of different days of the week. And then if you want to, you have to register to become an advocate. So if you want to introduce other people, you need to upgrade to become an advocate. When you actually buy one of the services, like for example, bank payment recoupment or mortgage security recoupment or currency creation or Asset Fortress protocol, okay, all of these different things that they offer, then you need to pay some money, and having paid some money now, you become a paid member. So you're a member and you're also a paid member. And if you've asked to become an advocate, you become an advocate as well as the other two things. And you can also become an advocate originator, which means you can introduce other advocates if you want to. So an advocate can introduce members, and an advocate originator can introduce members and advocates. So I'm not going to go into too much about that, except that, you know, you need to register for this, start looking through the videos, and then decide which protocol you're going to start off with. Most people start with the bank payment recoupment or the mortgage security recoupment. Either of those two are a good start. BitNex is a great platform. It's a staking platform, but it's called DeFi hybrid staking. Yuck. I guess I'll try to edit that bit out. Okay. It's a DeFi hybrid staking platform. What does that mean? Well, normally if you stake some money, you put $100 into something and that $100 goes to work for you. It provides liquidity for somebody somewhere doing something. And then because they're using your money, they get charged a fee, and you receive some of that fee as profits. So if you have $100 and you make a 1% per day profit, then you make $1 a day. So it takes you over 3 months to get your $100 back, and then you carry on, and you can put another $100 in if you want to, and now you're making $2 a day. So that's a smart thing to do if you're going to do it for a very, very long time. If you're going to do that, of course, then you shouldn't just start with 100. If you can afford 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000, then start with that, because you'll make more money per day. 3,000 on 1% a day will give you $30 a day. That's more exciting than $1 a day. Excuse me. So, DeFi hybrid staking is different. Your $100 doesn't get staked. Your $100 is used to set up the smart contract, and part of the smart contract borrows some money from a bank automatically. You don't have to fill in any forms or anything. The contract says, I've got another one for you, Mr. Bank. And the bank says, great, how much do you want? And they say, can we have $30,240, please? Or if you purchase a 5 or 7 year contract, they say, can we have 43,000? I think it's $43,200. And the bank says, certainly, just like we've arranged, just like we've agreed through the smart contract, here's the money. Okay, now you have 30,000 or 43,000 working for you every day. So when you get 0.1% profit every day, that's a lot of money. And then you can buy more contracts. And so your profits accrue very, very quickly. You have to pay the bank interest rate every year, or pay the bank interest, I should say, every year. But typically a 2 year contract will return over $20,000, and a 3 year contract will return over $35,000. That's for you. That's your takeaway. 5 years is a lot more than that, and 7 years is a lot more than that. Again, the reason I don't talk about those is because there are other ways of using these 2 and 3 year contracts. You can outperform the 5 and 7 year contracts if you strategize, if you understand what you're doing. And we help with that. We can help you do that. Veralio is a great business. So you can fund your Veralio account $100 to pay for the service. So the company Veralio wants to get paid for what they do. And the way that they get paid is when they make profit for you, however much that profit was, they debit that amount from your Veralio account. So if they help you make $100 in trading, then your Veralio account gets debited $10. So, but if you don't make any profit, then you don't pay any fees. Then you need to decide how much you're going to trade with, and you can have a Binance Exchange account and you fund your trading account in there. And again, if you only put $100 in, $100 is a minimum to connect up to our system. But if you only put $100 in and you make 1% a day, you're not going to get very excited. So have a real, and also bear in mind you're paying fees to Binance. They charge you money for moving money into this coin and back into that coin. So that cuts into your profit. So you don't want to be losing a significant amount of your profits to fees. The way to avoid that is to put more money in. So now when you make profits, you still only get paid, you still only pay a few pence or a few cents for the fees, but it's it's not a significant amount of your profit. You're still making plenty of profit. We also have a system where if you can't get access to a Binance account, you can buy community tokens. The community tokens go up in price, and so then the TCT that you purchased is worth more money, and you can cash it. You can cash some of your TCT tokens in, or all of them if you want to. Where are we? So eEstate, I kind of commented about eEstate earlier. They are a real estate company, and you can purchase a share of tokenized real estate. And by doing that, you get back daily profits. So you can, if you want to, you can automatically compound the profits, or you can take the profits out and then decide to withdraw some or buy some more properties. You receive profit, daily profit, Monday to Friday, 7 days, Monday to Friday for 18 months. And then with most of the contracts, then you start receiving 10% per year of what you deposited, 10% per year until we've for the lifetime of that property. Let's suppose we hold on to that property for 20 years, and then after 20 years, whatever you put it, they get rid of the property, and then they give you back the money you put in initially. You're still holding those tokens that represent a share of that company. So buy those tokens back off you and burn those tokens. They've gone, never to be seen again. There are a couple of other things you can do. One is you can auto compound, so that if you put, let's say you put $1,000 into a property, and over the 18 months, that $1,000 grows, all the profit gets added back in. You're making more and more profit every day because there's more and more. You have more and more tokens, a share of that property. Then at the 18-month period, let's suppose you now have $4,000 worth of that property. That's what gives you your 10% return. Then at the end of the period of time, when we sell the property, you get $4,000 back, even though you only put $1,000 in. There's one thing you can do. There's another thing you can do, which is a land plot deal, where at the end of the 18 months, they give you back your initial money at that point. So you never go into this long-term holding phase. All of that's available. Just need to learn how the system works, strategize with it, and there's money to be made in real estate, and in particular with eEstate. Lumex is a great business. It's an AI quantitative arbitrage engine, and it literally generates profits every few seconds. It also does some other things. It has 6 different types of arbitrage, and I didn't know that. I thought there were only like 3 or 4, but apparently there's 6. Fees are also generated from spot futures arbitrage, DeFi arbitrage, triangular arbitrage, and brick arbitrage. Not just the standard arbitrage we all know and love. And it's also got a fully functional exchange. So when people use it as an exchange, they get charged a fee, the same as you would in any other exchange. It is much more inexpensive through Lumex, moving money around the internet, around the blockchain. But there are still fees charged, and then we make some of that profit on the fees. That's just a very clever way that it works. It actually inserts itself into existing transactions. So it doesn't have to go out there to find transactions. It just says somebody wants to buy Bitcoin at that price off of these people. I'm going to interrupt that. I'm going to get them to buy it off of me. Meanwhile, over here, I can buy my Bitcoin, exactly the same amount of Bitcoin. I can buy it cheaper over there. So I get my Bitcoin cheaper and sell it to them at a higher price. It works the other way around as well. If somebody's selling something and we can find a buyer over here who's prepared to pay a higher amount, then that's what we do. We insert ourselves on the back of the nodes. It doesn't have to go through the exchanges. It's done actually on the blockchain in a cross-platform configuration. So brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So what else have we got? Well, we haven't got another platform, but all of those platforms, as well as having that passive income mode, they have a team building mode. And as I've said a few times, if you build a team in one, you can cross-pollinate all the other platforms. So you have 10 people in eEstate, you also have 10 people in BitNext, you also have 10 people in Lumex, and so on. And by doing that, it allows you to make this extra team building income. It's optional, you don't have to do it. But what I found is most people that are scared of introducing their friends to a platform is because of bad experiences. And what I'm saying is they won't have that bad experience. If you follow what we're saying in Wealth Warriors, introduce them to Wealth Warriors. Don't necessarily introduce them to a platform. Introduce them to Wealth Warriors, then a platform, or one platform, and then show them what we're doing. And all will be well. Your friends will be much more relaxed about getting on board with you when they realize we're not tied into one platform. We're actually building a community. So we have communications, as you would hope, of course. We've got a Telegram super group. Make sure you get added to that group. We've cut down on the number of admins, but you can still get hold of me. You can get hold of, if you look in the list within Telegram, you can see who the admins are. So just contact one, say, can you add this person? Now, I trust you. The reason I say that is because we don't want people added to Wealth Warriors who are just looking to see if they like it. No, we want people who have watched the videos, been on a Zoom call maybe, decide they like it, they've gotten involved with you in a platform, okay, and we're relying on you to say at the point they've bought their first contract, bought their first whatever it is they're buying, okay, so that they're actually committed to what we're doing. Then you can say to an admin, can you let this person into the group? The groups are for communication between members. The group is not for people to come along and have a look and see if they like it and ask all sorts of weird questions, okay? There's a number of reasons. I'm not going to go through the reasons, but I trust you to only invite people who are genuine, they're interested, they've gotten involved in one of the platforms with you, and so and they've said they want to be part of Wealth Warriors. Then we can introduce them. So bring people on this Zoom call, and I appreciate some of you are long-term attendees at these Zoom calls. I really appreciate it, and I love seeing you guys twice a week. But this particular one is for brand new people to attend, so it's a shortcut to fast growth. If you bring your brand new people along, then I can explain to them why they need to get into the other 4 platforms besides the one that you've got them into. Okay, if you don't do that, how will they know? You can't explain it, and I know that because I can't explain it. The only way I can do it is I give people a video of this Zoom call. I can't go and explain to people, look, I've got you into this platform. Let me explain about how Wealth Warriors works. And then let's get you into all these other platforms. I don't. I just give them this video. I bring them to this Zoom call. So find out a little bit about the platforms. We publish information about the about the presentations. You can also join all of their Telegram groups, Facebook groups, X posts, or whatever else you want. Okay, a lot of these platforms put a huge amount of information out there. I said this about Republic of Old Souls, work your way through the webinars and books, and then I didn't say this, get the first roadmap completed as soon as you can. You'll see on the website, there's a tab on the menu that says roadmap to freedom. So work your way through that as quickly as you can. So what do you do now? Well, if you're just looking at this for the first time, you're probably in one platform already, or you're looking at one platform. Get the referral links for all the platforms from the person who invited you to this presentation or sent you this video. Then register at all the opportunities. Now, for those of us that have been around a little while, I have different files within on my computer, so that if somebody just wants one link, I've got that link ready to go. But I also have another file sat above all of the individual platform folders that is all of my current links. So I can send just one folder with all of the links, so one document with all of the links if I want to. So I find that saves me a bit of time. You might want to do that as well. I can send you a copy of my my file if you like, and you can make one the same. The reason I do it in a text format is because text documents are you can read them on any platform that's ever been built since about 1993, and on all mobile devices. So a text document is real, just basic ASCII code. There's no tricks or anything. It's just almost machine code, but not quite. And easy to pass around. So pass these links on to your existing frontline members or to people you invite to see this presentation, and make minimum payment into all the opportunities or those that you can. Attend a Zoom call or watch a video for each platform you've funded. And then when we add platform 6, pester your upline, phone them up, say, oh, I want to join this platform 6. I've got people waiting. Where's your link? And then they can phone their upline. They can phone their upline. Eventually, everybody gets fed up of being chased, and they get the link and they pass on. What you're trying to do here is create a sense of urgency. You don't want the passing of your link down through your community. You don't want that to take 3 months when we get a new platform. You want it to happen in 2 days. Get 1,000 people in your team added to the new platform in 3 days. Okay. If everybody's all laissez-faire, well, I'll sign up when I get back off my honeymoon. Well, can't you do it? I know you're on your honeymoon, but just do that and then I'll have a link. Okay, so pester people, get the links and pass them to your existing team, and then go and find out about the platform. So don't, there's a philosophy, if you like, in life: ready, aim, fire. Okay, so first you get ready, you get to understand everything, then you find out what you're looking at, and then you go and do it. Don't do that. Do ready, fire, aim. Okay, get the link, register, then find out about it. Because if you're committed to Wealth Warriors, you're gonna register anyway. So don't waste time finding about it before. Register, get your link, pass it on. Double quick time. Grow your Wealth Warriors community by bringing more people to the Zooms, or by sharing this video. Only promote the platforms you're excited about. Don't worry about, you haven't got to be good at all the platforms. Just you'll find 1 or 2 of them are really good. They're exciting. You love them. They're the ones you talk about. Then you bring people along to Wealth Warriors to learn about the others. So you actually have 5 platforms grow below you, even though you might only be focusing on one. And in fact, that's not a bad idea. It's just focus on one if that's when you like. Build it and then wait for the cross-pollination to happen to all these other platforms. because you can be more effective in one platform. If you try and build all 5 platforms, it takes up more time. You don't want to be building all 5. You just want to be setting up and running all 5. So you can get a free landing page for BitNex by following this little formula here. You follow this link. I'll read it out. It's https://www.ultimatepassiveprofit.com/ref/c-tex. So that's REFCTEX equals, and then your BitNex wallet ID. When you've registered, you'll see at the top of the page, you will have your BitNex wallet ID. Substitute that into this link, then you can give that link out to people. When they click it, they will go to a landing page where they can learn a bit more about BitNex before they register. There's a video there about how it all works. There's another video of somebody withdrawing $400,000 worth of Bitcoin from their BitNex wallet. Okay, so there's some good stuff. There's some other videos there as well. I can't remember what they're about, to be honest, but I'll remember later. When you become an agent in eEstate, there's a pre-made, fully customizable landing page, so you can change it, say nice things about yourself, give out that link, There is a way as well, you can just set up a link so that if people have already been on an eState presentation, they want to join, then you can just send them the link to go and register. You don't need to send them to your landing page. In Veralio, go to the affiliate program page, click the button to request to become an affiliate. And then once approved, you'll get a referral link. So there are marketing materials available in all of these different places. I'm not going to go through that because time's gotten away from me again. But there are marketing materials available. Veralio has a Telegram support group, eState has a knowledge base, Lumex has support materials in a Telegram group, and so on. So everything you ever wanted to know about how to build these 5 platforms is available to you. You certainly won't run out of videos to watch in the Republic of Old Souls or in BitNex. So the point is, we're building a solid foundation. We're not interested in all this fly-by-night stuff, all these other people that are a bit flaky, the platform's a little bit squiffy. Okay, we can work with that, but we are trying to build a solid foundation on which we can base our financial futures. We're not interested in what other people are doing. We only work with companies that are in it for the long term. If we can identify them, sometimes we can't. But if we can, happy days. We only want 2 things when we join a platform: a passive income and a team building income. Everything else is noise. And I'd advise you, tune the noise out. Don't worry about it. When you hear other leaders saying, oh, you can do this, you can get that, and you can go here, and don't worry about it. It's not gonna help you. Scattergunning isn't the answer. You want to be like a rifle shot. You want to be very, very precise on what you're looking for and where you're spending your time and effort. Don't be a shotgun where the pellets go in a wide spread and don't do that much damage. We build a large asset starting with a small asset. We don't gamble the farm ever. And if I have had conversations with people who've been in Wealth Warriors for a while and they say, I put all my money into this and look at what's happened. And I say, well, we've told you, I've been telling you for in fact, this particular person, I've been telling them for 5 years not to do that. So we don't gamble the farm ever. If you're tempted to, don't. Yeah, all these platforms, they wave big shiny things in front of you. They appeal to your greed. I'm not going to mince words. Okay, if you fall for all that hype, it's because of you've let your greed get the better of you. Be intelligent. Take control of your emotions. Think smart. Okay, don't gamble the farm ever. Only platforms that meet our rigorous criteria are even considered. And that does annoy people when I say, sorry, we can't do that because of, and here's our criteria. Like, oh, yeah, but you can make loads of money. Look, I'm withdrawing loads of money. I said, I don't care. It doesn't work. It doesn't fit us. Because we apply our rules to this industry to achieve our outcomes, we're not beholden to anybody else. You're not even beholden to me. I'm trying to provide something for you to achieve something here. It doesn't mean I own you. It just means we're trying to build a community. So we're not at the mercy of any one company. We're not at the mercy of our upline saying, oh, yeah, if you don't do this, I'm not going to provide help and guidance for you. Or, that's all that sort of stuff is just crap. We don't do that. Finally, it's important to remain safe on the internet and in the world of online opportunities at all times. So do not share your password or other credentials with anyone. Where it's available, set up your 2FA accounts on your 2FA on your accounts. If you don't know what it is, just ask Google, go through the FAQs for that site, talk to the person who introduced you. Okay, 2FA is massively important. It's the only protection you have control of. Okay, you don't have control over the username or the password on the site. That site might get hacked. But if you've got 2FA set up, you're in control of that. Back up your passwords and your 2FA codes in a secure location and make sure the people who need it when you're not around, make sure they know how to access it. Okay, so that's kind of the end of it. We are Wealth Warriors. We are financial freedom fighters in our own lives. I am Andy Galloway, and it is the 8th of March. So get back to the person who invited you on this call or referred you to this video. They're ready and waiting to help you avoid scams, protect your permanent network, and create immense personal wealth. So I'm going to stop the sharing now, and we'll go back to the room, and I will sign off the video, and then we'll have a question and answer session. So if you are watching this and you're now going to, this is the end of the video and you wish you were here to ask some questions in person and learn in person, it's important, I believe, to be there on the call in person. You learn so much more than just watching a video. And so if you wish that was you, then we do this session every Sunday evening, 10 o'clock UK time. Once you're involved in Wealth Warriors, I do a similar session. Well, not similar at all, actually. I do another session on a Wednesday evening, 10 o'clock UK time, where we talk in a little bit more depth about the 5 different platforms we have available to us. So let's talk about Wealth Warriors and who we are and why we do it, and more talk about the platforms, how to benefit from those, how to strategize, cross-platform strategization, all sorts of other good stuff. We do that on a Wednesday evening, 10 o'clock UK time, same channel. So with that, I'm going to wish all those of you watching by video, I'm going to wish you a great week. It's Sunday evening now, so have a wonderful, wonderful week, and hopefully we'll see you in person soon. And God bless. I'll see you soon.
I want to see you win. I want to see you absolutely smash every single dream you have. I want to see you overcome all of the barriers you face, and I want to see you succeed. I'm your biggest fan, your top supporter, and I'll be with you every single step of the way. You're destined for greatness, with or without me, and I want to see you achieve. Your potential is limitless, and your determination is inspiring. Keep striving for your goals, and I'll continue to cheer you on.